For those who don't know me, I am Susan Morrison Daniels. I'm class of 2001, and I'm also Director of Leadership and Annual Giving in the Office of Advancement. So thank you all so much for joining us tonight. It's great to see all of your faces, and I hope everyone is holding up as well as possible. This has really provided us a great avenue to be able to connect with all of you on a more frequent basis. So it's so nice to be able to be with you this evening. We've got a really fun agenda coming up, and I hope that you'll have a good time and enjoy each other's company and learn a little something new as well. So I'm going to ask the folks on our Alumni Board Advancement Committee to introduce themselves. If you could just tell us your names and your class year and what your other volunteer roles currently are with the college. And we'll do that, so just keep it somewhat brief. And feel free to unmute yourselves and just speak up.
Hi, I'm Heather Morrison. I am just starting my second term on the Alumni Board. I'm class of 69, also parent of 95, and I am co-chair of the Advancement Committee for the board. Good to see you all. Thanks for joining.
Eric Camel.
Okay.
Sorry, Eric Camel, class of 2000, and my mother was class of 71, my aunt was class of 74, and my sister was class of 2010. I am ending up my last year of my second term on the board, so my 6th year on the Alumni Board, and I also chair the Advancement Committee for the board. I am my class gift officer, and also doing reunion chair for our upcoming wonderful double mega supersized reunion. So,
Okay, I am Barbara Freed. I'm in the class of 1964. I'm on my class. I don't know. I do gifts with my class, and I also have a grandson that's a sophomore, but he's not there right now. He's in St. Louis doing it remote. So I hope things work out. But this is the first time I've been with all you guys on this. This is kind of cool. It's really interesting because class of 64, I see some of the people when we go down to Florida or, you know, when we live outside of Chicago. So it's good seeing you all.
Welcome. So other Advancement Committee members from the Alumni Board.
Hi, Ann Ming Trucks from the class of 1971. This is my second year on the board. I'm also a class president and reunion 50th reunion chair. And besides the Advancement Committee, I co-chair the Engagement Committee.
Okay, I'm Sue Mabry Gowd, class of 1968. I am class president. It seems like I've been class president. I'm permanent class president, it seems. This is my first term on the Alumni Board. I am the parent of my son, graduated class of 2007. And I live just outside Chicago, but we spend a fair amount of time near Charleston, South Carolina.
I have to ask, where in Chicago do you live, outside of Chicago?
Evanston.
Where?
Evanston.
Oh, okay. We lived in Glen Ellen and we just moved to Wheaton. Okay.
Oh, I have a good college friend who lived in one of class of 66 lived in Glen Ellen for quite a long time.
Who is that?
Her name was Jan Davison Peak.
Oh, okay.
Long time ago.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hi, Chip Clothier, class of 1979, parent of a graduate of the class of 2010, secretary of the board, class gift officer. And I live outside Philadelphia.
Hi, I'm Margaret, class of 2020. I am one of the class gift officers. And on the board, I'm also on the Communications Committee, the Advancement Committee, and the Engagement Committee.
Thanks, Margaret. And do we have other Advancement Committee members of the Alumni Board here?
Sure.
Hey there.
Oh, hi, Harris.
Hi there. You can wait, Mario. Harris Rosenheim here, class of 2009, This is my second year on the alumni board. I live in Boston. Also I've served as my reunion chair for the last couple of reunions, and also I'm a member of the Council of Former and Emeriti Trustees.
And I'm Mario Lorenzi, class of 1990. Greetings from New York City. Not only do I serve on the advancement committee of the alumni board, I'm also my class president, class gift officer, and class reunion chair. It's great to see all of you.
Great. I think that was everybody from the alumni board. And I'd just like to ask very quickly for my colleagues in the Connecticut College Fund to introduce themselves. Just if you can share your name and what class years you work with.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ellen Bremner. I'm an assistant director with the CC Fund, and I work with the classes 1975 to 1983 and 2000 to 2009.
Hi, I'm Lynn Kreider. I'm also a assistant director of the annual fund, and I work with the classes from 1940 to 1966.
I'm Stephanie Schulke. I am associate director in the annual fund, and I work with the classes 1984 through 1993.
Hi everyone, Brittany Richard, Associate Director in the Annual Fund. I work with the classes of 67 through 74 and 94 to 99.
Hi everybody, I'm Gwen Hay, I'm Assistant Director of the Annual Fund. I'm calling you from campus, so hence the mask, and I work with classes of 2010 through 2020.
Wonderful. Thank you, everybody. And I'm going to hand over to Lynn Kreider, who's going to do our roll call with all of our CGOs.
Okay, we'll start with the 50s. So can anybody start from the 50s and just let me know who's here?
I'm June Hoy, class of 57.
Okay.
Lucy Ionati, class of 57.
Okay. Judy Grohlman, class of 58.
And Mary Capusta, class of 59.
Judy Hart Acker, class of 57, and I was also on the alumni board and have been class president 3 times.
There anybody else from the 50s?
I'm not sure. Did I come through before? I think I was muted. So I'm Marilyn Cassidy, class of 58.
Was I muted? Marcia Sherman, 59.
All right, we can go to the 60s.
Barbara Negriaper, 1961.
Suzanne Krantz, class of 68.
Heather Morrison, class of 69.
Okay, the 70s.
Chip Clothier, 79.
Ann Ming Trucks, class of 71.
Brian Roby, class of 73.
That it for the 70s, the 80s?
Chip Orcott, class of 84.
Tamsin Bales Sharpless, class of 89.
Peter Bacala, class of 1987.
Annie Scott, class of 1984, class vice president and CGO and former trustee. I just finished my 8th year.
Sorry to be late. Dave Clark, 73, former board member. If you need to see what I look like, check out the brochure that was just mailed out, both snail mail and email. And thankfully that picture was taken 3 years ago, so I look younger.
Debbie
Jeff.
Brooks, class of 1987.
Ann Mickel, class of 1989.
Noel Ifshin, class of 1989.
Okay, the 90s. Oh, sorry, did I miss
Jeff
someone?
Busher, 84.
Okay. Okay, the 90s.
Michael Marchand, 1993, Austin, Texas.
Jennifer Mann, class of 94.
Hi, Jen.
Hi.
Matt Cooney, class gift officer and reunion committee, class of 1995.
Okay. 2000 plus.
Eric Camel, class of 2000.
Anybody else?
2020, Margaret Davy.
Leslie Gahn, 2012.
Paris Rosenheim, 2009.
All right, I think that's everybody. Did anybody not go? All right, welcome.
Thank you, everybody. And I think it's so fun to see the many generations here. And I don't know who's winning in terms of participation, the 50s or the 80s. Lynn might have to do a count for us, but it's close.
Definitely the 50s.
Nice. Love it. All right, I'm going to hand over now to Harris and Margaret, who are going to actually take us through a little trivia that they have prepared.
Hi, everyone. So this is the interactive fun part of the program where if everyone could actually just take a few minutes or a few seconds, if you don't have a pen and paper near you, to go grab one. We're going to play a trivia game. So I'll give everyone 30 seconds to run and grab a pad if you need to. And what we're going to be doing is a little Conn trivia here. We're going to be asking, Margaret and I are going to be asking 10 questions about the college, where we're going to give you 30 seconds to write down your answer on the piece of paper. And then we're going to ask, this might be challenging because I can't see everyone's, the screen's too small for me to see everybody, but we're going to ask everyone to hold up their piece of paper on the screen so we can hopefully see your answer. We'll lean on the college's honor code here, given we might not be able to track everyone. And then at the end, we will look for the top 3 winners for actually to be sent a pair of Camel mask socks.
Limited edition.
Okay. So I guess these are socks with camels wearing a mask on them. So
Keep your tally if you get one right.
Yeah. So
Right.
10 questions, and so top 3 folks. Give me a thumbs up if you're all ready. Okay. All right. So Margaret, you want to take question 1?
Sure. So question 1, what is the oldest storm on campus?
It's still a dorm. Probably not still a dorm.
15 seconds. All right, time. All right. Anyone want to say the answer out loud?
Planned.
Blackstone.
I said Blackstone.
So you would both be correct. It's Blackstone and Planned. They were built together.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if, just keep track if you got that right.
Yeah,
All
honor
right.
code.
Yeah. Second question is, how many kinds of trees are in the Arboretum?
Yeah.
It's sort of like guessing how many jelly beans are in a jar.
Random number.
Peter, you are correct, but not completely.
Time.
All right. Does anyone have an answer?
Good, Peter.
Lots.
Lots. Good
All
one,
right,
Peter.
let's hear one and then we'll give the answer.
100.
100. I said 200.
400.
All right.
245.
The answer is 233.
Oh, I was close.
Close.
Anyone around there?
I said 200.
Okay.
I overshot, so 200 would be it.
Yeah, I had 217.
That was closer.
Yeah, I had 245, but it's still over. So whoever had 200.
217.
The 17 would be it.
217.
I was correct.
Pretty precise.
Margaret,
All
you wanna do the
right.
third?
Third question is, what year did the camel become the mascot? This might be an easy one.
Yeah, I know
You're
that.
a tour guide, you probably know this.
I was on campus at that time, so I know.
That helps.
Oh, you just made it.
That does
Yeah,
help.
no tips. I mean.
Oh yeah, no tips. Uh-oh, I gave it away.
Not a good timekeeper here. 5 seconds.
All right. I think we're good.
All right.
Anyone want to guess?
1969.
That is correct.
Oh, cool.
Your con switched its position.
All right. Question 4. What dorm on campus is rumored to be haunted?
Oh, geez.
Good thing I didn't know then.
10 seconds. All right. Anyone have an answer?
Knowlton.
Knowlton. I said Knowlton.
That is correct.
Right. Oh, we got one right. Yeah, that was our reunion dorm too this year. I didn't see any ghosts.
Was it always thought to be haunted? I don't even remember that.
Not sure. All right, question 5. What is the newest building on campus?
Ooh.
The newest building from scratch and the newest renovated building.
Newest building from scratch.
From scratch, yep.
Ten seconds. All right.
Any guesses?
Higdon Athletics?
Good guess. It's actually the Zach's Hillel House.
Oh.
Don't know if we got any right answers.
The Zach what house?
The Hillel House.
Oh, Hillel. Oh.
All right. Next question is, what is the oldest building on campus? Different than oldest dorm.
Oh.
10 seconds.
Danny?
Danny?
It is not Fanning.
Bill
This
Hall.
is a little
It
bit of a
is-
trick question.
Yeah, it is
Bill.
New London Hall.
Ah,
Oh, New London Hall.
Anyone get that?
Was renovated.
Yep.
All right. Good job, Jennifer.
All right, this one's a hard one. So how many Conn College alumni and current students have competed in the Olympics?
Oh.
Could you repeat that?
How many Conn College alumni and current students have competed in the Olympics?
10 seconds. All right, any guesses?
5.
Said 9. 8.
5.
It's actually 11.
Oh,
Surprising a little bit.
All right, next question. Before Conn was an all Steinway school, which piano man played in Palmer Auditorium? I'll read it again. Before Conn was an all Steinway school, which piano man played in Palmer Auditorium?
Billy Joel.
Billy Joel.
Don't shut it out.
Points are
That is
deducted
correct.
for those who.
That is correct. It
who
is
give up.
Billy Joel. So if you had written that down before we confirmed it.
Do we have to turn in our papers? I know. No way.
All right. What is Conn's official song?
Official. Oh. I think it would be
Keep
the
it to
alma
yourself.
mater.
10 seconds.
Well, I can only think of alma mater by the sea. Yeah.
All right, time.
It is Alma Mater by the Sea.
Oh, got one right. That's two for me.
All right, and the last question. Becker House sits on the foundation of the college's first dining hall and assembly hall. Name that hall. Don't say anything out loud until 30 seconds comes up. I'll read it again. Becker House sits on the foundation of the college's first dining hall and assembly hall. Name that hall.
While everybody answers that, once we're done, Gwen actually has a pair of the socks to show the winners what they will be receiving. So you all can be, the losers unfortunately can be jealous. Sorry.
All right, time.
Thames Hall.
Anybody have a?
Thames Hall.
Thames Hall.
Thames.
Right.
That is correct.
Yes.
Well
Oh.
done. All right, so anybody 10 for 10? 9 for 10. 8 for 10. 7.
7.
7, nice.
Well done.
I think it's all the tour guide knowledge. It hasn't left.
It is.
Well done, Jennifer. All right, anyone also get 7? 6. 5.
5.
5.
Pat Tamsin
Yep. 5.
and Annie Scott.
Yep.
Did I miss anybody else?
And Ming.
And
me.
Ming.
Okay. How many socks do we have? Do we have to like send one sock for each?
We might have to split up the pairs. No, I do think we have enough. And
We have
Gwen,
enough.
this is what they
So
look
they're
like.
little camel socks.
Oh,
Oh, cute.
cute.
Yeah.
Very
So they're
cute.
longer blue ones with the masks. Nice.
Very
So I'll
cute,
get those
very
off
cute.
in the mail for you guys tomorrow. Congratulations.
Awesome.
Well done. So congrats to there. So at this point, moving on in the agenda, why don't I pass it along to Eric Gamel, and Ann Ming, who are going to be giving a campus fundraising update.
Okay, so I'll start for a quick campus update. So you've probably seen in the November alumni newsletter that on November 6th, the college held its second annual All College Symposium, featuring students from the class of 2021 who have participated in the Connections program for 4 years. Unlike last year, which was an in-person event, this year's symposium was virtual and open to the public. And about 200 seniors shared their learning experiences on an integrated topic, ranging from social justice, entrepreneurship, to arts and technology, and public health. And the format varied from panel discussions, videos, presentations, and performances. Moving on to camp on this week, students are completing their on-campus experience. After Thanksgiving break, they will not return to Conn. Instead, they will be completing the rest of the semester, including final exams online. And lastly, in terms of COVID response, the college has done really well. You can check on Conn's website, the COVID-19 dashboard, which currently shows that we are yellow, which is alert level 2 with a 0.19% of positive cases. And actually, for 2 weeks around mid-October, we were actually green, which is alert level 1 with 0 positive case for 1 week, and I think 1 positive case another week. And the success really is because of the college's very strong testing and contact tracing program and a mix of hybrid and in-person instruction. And now I'm going to pass it on to Eric for the fundraising update.
Thank you very much. I'm going to be brief because I guess just to spout out numbers at you, but I'll go slowly as enough so you can all hear it. The college is in a good spot right now so far with our CC fund dollars raised. Currently, it's raised about $2.9 million for the CC fund, with the overall dollars in and pledges in at 7.1 million to the college this year. We are creeping towards 1,000 donors for this year. We're at 939 current donors. I'm hoping everyone on this call is one of those 939. If you're not, well, you should be getting a call from your class gift officer or yourself. Again, this year, compared to last year, we are actually up about 239 donors compared to where we were last fiscal year. And we're just below where we were in fiscal year 2019, so 2 years ago. The advancement team and the staff is really looking at why, where our numbers are, and once they have results on that analysis of, figure out who are the early donors. Were they live bunts? Were they individuals that didn't give in fiscal year 20 but gave in fiscal year 19? Were they people that have never given before but have responded to our solicitations? Are they in certain gift bands? Are these our $100 donations? Are these our 1911 Society members that are stepping up early and making an earlier either pledge or donation to the college? Or are there certain decades that are doing better than others? Are there certain class gift officers that are doing better than others? I'm looking at Chip Clothier, the class of 1979. No, but I think we all, kind of looking at that data will help us target and focus our efforts as we head to the final parts of our calendar year. As shocking as it is to say, we are about 7 weeks or so left in 2020, not 2019, 2020, and this year will be over. But we definitely, the calendar year will be over, but not the fiscal year, obviously, for the college. And we want to make sure that we're focusing your efforts and using your time to the best to really get into the donors that will hopefully either pledge this calendar year or give this for this calendar year. So that's where the college sits. We're doing, as I said, doing well, but we always can continue to improve. And from there, I get to hand you off to the wonderful tag team of Heather Morrison from the class of 69 and Mario Lorenzi of the class of 1990 to kind of talk about some outreach tips and what they've seen that's worked for them.
Thanks, Eric. I'm so glad to be able to interact with all of you. I always get excited anytime that you bring a bunch of camels together. We're all joined by our unique ability to volunteer. We've raised our hands and have decided to support the college. And I'm not kidding when I say that we are probably the most important link in the giving chain, because classmates are 3 times more likely to respond positively to the ask for a gift when it comes from a fellow classmate. So despite all those emails and the brochures that come from the college, all of which are wonderful, all of which are great support tools, the reality is the outreach that we make to our individual classmates has a 3 times greater success rate of getting a positive answer. And I think, my peer, my mentor, someone I admire greatly, Heather Morrison, class of 69, can tell you exactly some of her success stories on that front. Heather?
Okay, thanks, Mario. I think, those of us who have done our 50th reunion or are about to see the 50th reunion know that that's a really big deal. And I am technically the only class gift officer for my class, but I reached out to 5 other women in my class and we formed a team and we got in touch with every single person in the class. So I would suggest if you can broaden out and get a bigger team, your chance of success is going to be highly improved. So our class, our participation goal was 69% for the class of 69, and we reached 70%. And it was totally because of the outreach. We just fanned out the outreach. We created a network of people who kept calling other people.
So when it comes to solicitation, as Heather's example illustrates, it's very, I hate to use this word, infectious, in that it catches fire. So I've often found that the most successful way to start out the ask to the gift is to be able to say, won't you join me? So it started with my gift, and my commitment. And then I'm able to say to my peers, hey, this is the goal. Our class for our 31st reunion, ours was displaced last year, has goaled ourselves at having 100 donors. So the selling point very much was like, hi, I'm the first on the books. Won't you be number 2? And I've had number 2, a classmate of mine, Leslie. And now Leslie has started to reach out to people and has said, hi, so there are 2 of us. Let's be the 3rd. So it's that whole idea of everyone wants to get in on it. And it starts with you, and it starts with that personal outreach effort. Another thing that I think we kind of wanted to highlight, which is a really important benefit to share with your classmates that can really help tip them into the giving pool this year, is in 2020, the CARES Act has 2 really significant tax benefits that really are going to change the tax deductibility that limitation rather for 2020 has been entirely eliminated. So for individuals who are interested in making large scale gifts to the college, they will certainly actualize the tax benefit as a deduction. But most importantly, for individuals who don't itemize, which is 92% of us, prior to this point, if you made a charitable gift to the college, unless you itemized your deductions, you weren't able to take a deduction on your income if you took the standard deduction. In 2020, as a direct result of the CARES Act, charitable deductions up to $300 can be taken as an above the line deduction. So any money that up to $300 that's given directly to Connecticut College is entirely tax-free money to the individual. It can happen as an above the line deduction if they do not itemize their taxes. So that's a big change, and should definitely help inspire a lot of giving at that $300 and less level, which is truly key to driving overall participation.
So I think a lot of people don't know about these provisions under the CARES Act, and I am in the process of crafting an email to go out to my class to make sure that they know what the opportunities could be. And I hope it will help with giving before the end of the calendar year.
We have, I think one last point to make before we sort of segue into Giving Tuesday, which is a nice little bridge to the conversation. But another thing I think that we found is that methods of outreach vary. So I don't want anyone to leave this call thinking that you have to reach out to your classmates, the same way we do, or the same way we have, or perhaps even the same way you did last year. I have found that with my classmates, a quick text and then a follow-up phone call is the way I can kind of like stay engaged and very much do it individually and on the fly. Whereas I think Heather has seen great success utilizing different tools. Heather?
I pretty much use email, and then if I get a interested response, I'll do a follow-up phone call. But email works really well for my class, but everyone is different, and the younger classes are going to have different ways. So need to find what works for your class.
Heather, I just have, would you be willing to share the email that you craft to your class regarding the CARES Act?
Absolutely, I will. I'll funnel it through Ellen. Okay.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, great.
We can send it out when we send out the recap. So
will you send it out to all of us then?
yes, we will.
Good, thank you.
You're welcome.
So no, I think it sounds like most of us have been doing this for a while. What are some of the challenges we've come across in terms of connecting with our classmates, or perhaps trouble we've had cutting through? Or anyone want to share any stories? Marilyn, go ahead. I think you're on mute.
You're on mute. Yeah.
One of the things that I have found with the older generation, I hate to say that, but it's true, is that they don't answer the phone anymore because of all the scammers. So they're afraid to answer. So that's a major problem. And if you don't have an email for them, you're out of, there's nothing you can do other than send a note or, by snail mail. And so that's a definite drawback.
Don't you think that's been a problem ever since caller ID existed?
I think it's worse now because I think the scammers are really just overpowering everything right now. And there's been so much in the media from this problem that they're afraid to answer it. I find that with a lot of people.
So I think really you have to go back to snail mail. If you don't have an email, and you are absolutely right, people aren't picking up the phone anymore. So unfortunately, we have to go back to old fashioned.
And unfortunately, snail mail ends probably 9 times out of 10 just ends up in the wastebasket. There's nothing like person-to-person contact. I mean, it's just not the same thing, so.
You're right.
I don't see any way to overcome it unless the college can do better at getting emails and that type of thing. I don't know if that's possible or not.
I don't know. I agree, but I somewhat disagree. I think people really, I mean, especially if you send it snail mail with a little handwritten note in it, that people respond to that. Maybe not. I mean, the older generation tends to respond that more because we're not quite as used to being with our phones hanging off our ears and text and whatnot.
Well, I don't know. That's what I found. So that's my story.
Thanks for sharing. I think you are right in that certainly has been a challenge. I think we have to then focus our efforts on the ones that we know we can reach. As I said, the thing that I find works is a personal text, because I'll usually start it with like, "Hey, it's Mario," and it'll start a dialogue, and I'll be like, "I'm going to call you now." And they'll take my call as an incoming call. So at least that's an icebreaker. So, maybe it's reaching out to the top 5 or 10 prospects with a little note and setting up a time to call. Any other challenges that we can help talk about? I find that 27 heads, if I counted correctly, in terms of the number of little boxes on my screen, are better than one.
Mario?
Yes.
Hi, it's Judy Grohlman. I'm in the same class as Lynn Cassidy. We're the class of 58, and we've been loyal givers for over 60 years. And we decided this year that the way to deal with our classmates is in a more subtle fashion. And we devised a class Zoom call that took place last week. We were able to get the email addresses of 90 members of our class. We sent Lynn Kreider sent the email to every one of them, and we followed up. There are 5 of us on the committee. We followed up with emails and phone calls. We got about 25 people to join on a call with us that we advertised purely as a social call. How are you? And great to be with you. And let's talk about where we are. We decided that after 60 years of loyal giving, it's only fair to treat them in a more social fashion than in a more will you give fashion, because these people who we're still able to communicate with, and we started with 25. I'll bet you we're going to be together 4 times during the year, and I'll bet you we'll get up to 50. Don't you think, Lynn, by the time?
I do. And I think that just that general contact will start to make them think more about in terms of donations.
Right.
That's the hope.
Right. So of the 25, I've heard, since we've had the call, I've heard from quite a few members of the class who couldn't be on the call, but heard about the call and want to join next time. So we're taking a very subtle approach this year, and we're talking basically about, we're going to tell them about what's going on at the college, what's new at the college, how the college is doing, how we're doing. And we think that this will encourage them just to keep active, but we're not going to do the hard sell. Would you say that's so, Lynn?
I would, yeah.
And we've had a very enthusiastic response from class members about just so happy to be together, because we have people in every time zone. We have people all over the world, and they're just happy to all be together in one place. So you can make really good use of Zoom to communicate with your class without the hard sell, but the soft sell. It certainly works for the older classes.
Well, Lynn mentioned this to the class of 57 also, and I'm hoping we'll go through with it, because as I said to Lynn, people our age in this day and age with having to stay home certainly have time on their hands, so that we could certainly do a Zoom call at some time of day, I would think. So I don't know how it gets arranged, but hopefully we'll do it for the class of 57.
It works, we'll tell you.
Look, I have no doubt. It's just really important. I think the big takeaway is that we end up meeting everyone exactly where they are, and figure out, it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. You each know your classes better than any of us could. So if you need any support or any ideas, or just want to share success stories, the entire advancement team at the college and the entire advancement committee is here to support you. So on that front, I'm going to turn it over to Britt, who is going to take us through a new upcoming event on our calendars, Giving Tuesday.
Thanks, Mario. So we have Giving Tuesday coming up in 2 weeks from today. And Giving Tuesday, if you're not familiar with it, is a global day of giving. It's kind of a day where you think about supporting organizations and communities that are important to you. So as you know, Connecticut College, we like to tag on to that global day of giving. And so we've had a number of years now where we've tagged on to that and had a kind of 24-hour stint of asking folks to give back to Connecticut College. So what I'd like to do now is share my screen, and you can kind of see our current landing page for Giving Tuesday. Let's see here. There we go. Sorry about that. So we have kind of our landing page, which is still a little bit under construction, but this will be the page that our emails will forward folks to. So once we start getting donations, once the page is live, we'll see a fun little ticker here that we're counting dollars and donors to this campaign, and then kind of a donate button so you can click right here and give back. It'll talk a little bit about the Giving Tuesday initiative and what that's all about. And we have our 4 buckets here that we're highlighting. Of course, you can give to wherever you'd like to give, but these are kind of the 4 that we're highlighting this year. And then once people start to give, if they'd like to, you can also remain anonymous, but we also have a kind of donor board here, the leaderboard. So folks will be able to see like, oh, Lynn Cassidy just gave $5. So it'll kind of be a running tally of everyone who's supporting the college during that time, which is pretty neat to see. And some people really leave some inspiring comments and talk about, why they're giving back, which is really exciting. So that's something that we'll be populating there. And then we also, Giving Tuesday is also a big social media push. So as much as we'd like for folks to be reaching out with, text messages and emails and calling, it is a big social media push. So we have a number of graphics that we'll have accessible to all of you. So you can download them, use them on your own social media channels, or you can go onto our channels, both the alumni accounts and the main Conn College accounts, and just like or reshare things from there. So I'm also going to share my screen just to give you a little sneak peek of some of these. So we have fun little graphics here, very bold, very, the Conn blue, but we're bringing in the colors of the kind of overarching global Giving Tuesday. So the dark teal and the red this year. Camels Carry On, which has been our theme this year, given everything going on in 2020. So we have a number of things. We just posted this Save the Date graphic today. So if you go on our Instagram and Facebook page, you'll be able to see that. So there'll be a number of graphics here that you can download and use. And like, Mario and Heather mentioned, peer-to-peer outreach is the best way to go about this. The college will be sending an email through the JOT, the Just One Thing, on Tuesday, just before Thanksgiving. So just kind of a reminder that it's coming up on the following week. And then we'll be sending 2 emails the day of Giving Tuesday on December 1st. So we'll send one in the morning and one in the late afternoon, evening, kind of updating everyone on where we're at. So peer-to-peer outreach is best, but we'll be, doing some, major communication through the college channels. And I think that's all I have to announce about that. Any questions on Giving Tuesday? Great. I'm going to turn it over to Ellen Bremner for our additional communications going on.
Thanks, Britt. So I'm just going to share with you, after Giving Tuesday, we're going to be focusing on our end of calendar year communications. So the plan is we're going to be sending a total of 3 emails, and the dates are 12/21, 12/28, and 12/31. Just encouraging people, if they'd like to make their gift before the end of the calendar year, to please do so. And we're segmenting that group to people who have historically contributed in the fall or December within the last 3 years. So it's not going to go to everybody. It's just going to go to that group. In addition to that, we also have our student advancement officers who will be getting on the phone and reaching out to those donors to encourage their gift too. And that's about it for our end of year communications. And I'm going to pass it off to Stephanie to talk about the athletic solicitation.
So one last tidbit we're sending out. We have yet to send a formal athletics targeted appeal this fall. So we are going to send one out the week of December 7th. It's going to be sent to alumni athletes who've graduated in the last decade, along with athletes who have a history of giving in the last 5 years or so to Camel Athletics. So very targeted. The teams are not able to travel and compete because of the pandemic, but there's still a lot going on campus. So we're trying to highlight what we're doing and paint a picture of, what's going on in athletics on campus. I think it was just last weekend, they were able to live stream some intra-squad competitions, celebrate the seniors. And we even hosted a regatta on the Thames against Boston College. So there's still some exciting things going on, even without, the NESCAC competition. So I think that closes us out. Does anyone have any questions on any of that 2020 year-end appeals and communications?
Just a quick comment or recommendation. Can we make sure that we really include that language that Mario highlighted about the provisions in the CARE Act, so that it's linkable, whatever graphics you could include, something that really highlights and stands out in all the communications. Thanks.
Definitely.
Thank you, Jennifer. Actually, it's we are integrating the CARES Act language in just about everything that we're going to send out between now and the end of the year. I think, honestly, we live and breathe this information, and it's only been in the last month that we've realized that others don't know this. And so it's through kind of our personal conversations that even with some very loyal philanthropists that haven't realized this. So it's going to be in the next issue of the Alumni Magazine as part of kind of our ad for year-end giving. It's on a PS for a parent letter that's going out, and we'll be doing that in all ways. We have made it a little bit more prominent on our website, but I'm actually working with our communications team to make it even more prominent.
Susan, if you could send the gift officers that specific language so that we can incorporate it into our letters that we write to our classes, because we send out news. Well, I don't know what other classes do, but 89, we use MailChimp to send electronic newsletters out to our class.
Right, great.
So that I could just copy and paste that into that format would be great.
Perfect. Yeah, because you can really articulate it in 2 quick sentences. And that's, that's about the attention span people have these days. So, so I think, and whenever you're talking about anything tax related, the simpler that we can explain it, the better. So we do have that language. We've kind of tightened it up. And so we'll make sure to send it to all of you in our follow-up to this call.
Yeah.
Great. Because, posted on Facebook, several of you are talking in the chat about your Facebook pages. That would be a great place to put that information too, just to get it out in another way. Right, and Susan Gowd just wrote to me about the required minimum distribution. So this is an interesting piece also about the CARES Act this year, and I'm of mixed minds about publicizing this. So as most of those of you who are 70 and a half and older know, once you reach that age, you're required to take a minimum distribution from your retirement accounts. Whether you want that income or not, you have to take it or get taxed and penalized on it. Many people don't want that income or don't need it or don't need all of it. And there is a provision, generally speaking, saying that you can give that to a charitable organization and not have to take it in as income and therefore not pay taxes on it. In 2020, the required minimum distribution has been waived. So, so if you're 70 and a half or older, you do not need to take your required minimum distribution from your retirement accounts this year. The bad news about that for philanthropy and for charitable organizations is that people don't have to take it and therefore might be less likely to give it to a charitable organization. But, that really depends on the individual. It's still a great way to give. It is still a wonderful asset to give. It's just not required this year. So I suspect some people will hold it over into the next year and then maybe, give more of it next year.
Susan, unless you had another question, I was going to.
Yep.
Okay. In separate, or I guess kind of connected to the qualified charitable distributions, but in lieu or connected to CARES Act and all these changes right now, it might also be beneficial to have verbiage related to just plain old gifts of appreciated securities, considering where the markets are right now, as the markets are rotating from growth potentially into value. Everyone's sitting on very highly appreciated tech stocks, the FANGs out there. And frankly, this is actually a really good time for messaging, I think, to actually be focused more on those, for the people that are sitting on the Facebooks and the Amazons of the world that might want to ease up and, and potentially decrease their concentration in that area. So the timing actually heading into the end of the calendar year on top of where things are in the markets right now plays very well into that. And I don't know whether that also can be included into the communications.
That's a great idea, Harris, because yes, I think, again, those of us who are more knowledgeable about these options know that giving appreciated securities is also a very tax advantageous way to give, especially those highly appreciated securities. But there are a lot of people who don't even realize that that's a benefit. So for in case you don't know, basically you can give appreciated securities stock to a charitable organization, and you do not have to pay capital gains. So if you bought a stock for $5 a share, it's now worth $50 a share. You would have to pay significant capital gains tax if you were to sell that stock. If you simply take it and transfer it to a charitable organization, obviously you no longer have that asset, but you also don't have to pay the tax on the capital gains. So for many people, that's also really great. And this is where I think you as volunteers come in as such valuable philanthropic advisors. You can help your classmates and your colleagues to know, you know, these little tidbits that they just frankly may not have paid attention to in the past.
Yeah, but the point that Harris added adds to that, which is think about rebalancing your portfolio. And if you can somehow get that wording into whatever's going out, I think that would be really helpful.
And the message might be, as you're talking with your financial advisor or whomever you're working with about end of year planning, think about potentially using the markets right now and the appreciation of, frankly, a lot of people's, you know, if they do have investable assets, to be thinking about how can I utilize those for their Connecticut college contribution.
I like that language a lot, Harris. Thank you. Thank you, Suzanne.
Just a quick question on that, though. Do we have to be careful that we're not introducing the idea that the CARES Act is only applicable to cash gifts this year? It's not applicable on the appreciated securities? Okay.
Correct. That is correct. They're two separate things. So yes, we just need to distinguish those things.
Right.
Any other questions or thoughts before we wrap up? This has been a really wonderful, engaging meeting. I thank you all so much for coming. Any final thoughts? Well, you all are doing amazing work. It is definitely noticeable in our numbers this year. We couldn't do all of this without you. And, you know, I think after things being tough for most of 2020, thankfully people are feeling like they want to do something to help. And we can make the case that Conn is a place that's a good investment of their philanthropic intentions. So thank you all so much. And I know staff will stay on for a couple of minutes if you have additional questions.
I have an additional comment, and that is to throw the congratulations back to you guys, because the contacts that I've had with classmates are that the information that's coming out of the college about what you're doing, how you've handled this year, the COVID rates, is making people feel really good about that. So if you continue that kind of message in your messaging, it helps us a lot.
Wonderful. We'll make sure that that's heard too, because I do think that's true. This is a success. Our students are about to go home after 13 weeks of a successful time on campus. It's not perfect. It's not ideal, but we made it through, and it's because Conn has carried on. So thank you all. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.